y'all. Listen, tonight is not a surface level conversation. This right here, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, this one of those talks, the ones we usually avoid. Because let's be honest, a lot of us don't have real conversations anymore. Not because we don't know the truth. No, not because we are afraid of hurting feelings. Or afraid of how somebody might react, or deep down, we already know they just can't handle it. I was watching Young Joc on Freaky Friday, and he said something that hit me right in the chest. He talked about how we talk, we when we are taught as kids to fix stories. And I'm gonna say that again. When we taught as kids to fix stories, to soften things, to clean things up, to protect people from the truth. And I'm gonna show y'all a little clipping from that, only because in the conversation that we're going to have, it's going to touch on having those real conversations. And the problem is that habit didn't stay in childhood; it followed us into adulthood. It followed us into our relationships, into our businesses, into our friendships, into even how we communicate with other people. So tonight, y'all, we are going to be talking about how we avoid real conversations, how fixing the story is holding us back, and what happens when truth keeps keeping watered down, when it just keeps getting watered down, y'all. Stay with us because this conversation might be uncomfortable for some of y'all, but it's necessary. So I am your girl, Denise Murray, and you know you got my girl right here, Miss Day All Day. And we're going to talk about it with y'all tonight because we are about those real conversations. So, Miss Day, let's talk about it.
Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go. You know this is real. Real talk.
Now, I want to show them a little clip.
Okay.
Because the part that he talked about yesterday, and I'm gonna just give you a little bit of it because I want you to hear it because it was kind of deep, and I just want people to see like how real this stuff can be, even from when we were kids. So let me show. Can you see it?
Here it comes.
Are you
Here it
able to
comes.
see it?
Yeah.
Miss
Here it
Day?
comes. Yes.
Okay, let me know if you can hear
It's
it.
good. Not when you cornered it, when
You hear
somebody
it?
called
Yes.
the phone or called the
Yes.
house or you didn't show up or you demons. I said, bro, we're human. But does your partner really know you like your partner know you? You know
And I'm gonna tell you why you get there. This is why I asked you how you got there. As a child, and having dialogue with an adult, it has to be filtered. Because as a child, they don't think you can take it in, fully understand it, and grasp what they're trying to deliver, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as that child matures through the process of maturation, life, growth, then the conversation becomes a little more and more unfiltered, right? So a lot of these men are dealing with that mentality of thinking, I have to protect my situation by not giving them all the game or telling the true reality. It's like at Christmas, you sitting there thinking, oh, we gonna have a good Christmas. Your daddy don't want to tell you, boy, I'm broke as shit. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. He don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation with you, right? To save face, to still look like the hero. But that doesn't necessarily not make you a better person, because maybe you could come out and not being the child who dealt with the letdown. That could be your reality. Or the reality could be, hey, let me sit y'all down. Look here, y'all know Santa Claus ain't no such goddamn thing. I'm Santa Claus. It's messed up. 3 and stuff came. They happen. Y'all ain't gonna have no Christmas this year, but we're gonna do what we can. What I want y'all to do, I want y'all to pull out a paper and write down everything about each other that y'all love about each other. We're gonna share these thoughts on Christmas Day because this is what it's gonna be about. Family, we're gonna share that, all right?
Okay. Now, what y'all think about that? What you think about that, Miss Day?
Okay, well, I was following
Were you
along
able
with.
to hear all of that? What you think about?
Yes, I did. I was able to hear him, but in that first moments, I was trying to see, well, where was he gonna go when he was saying that the difference between the parent and trying to explain this to a child, right? So then
Right.
at the end, I understood it. He brought it all together, saying,
Mhm.
hey, baby, you just got to lay it out here flat and tell it like it is. So I
Right.
got that part, but I could understand from the perspective of when you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, we start trying to sugarcoat stuff. So I
And
could
he
get
goes
that.
into it deeper. I'm gonna bring it back because he started talking about it in relationships too. But he
Okay.
first started off with talking about kids, and that's one of the things that we do as parents, and and even as our parents, like it's certain things that as a child, it's certain things we just didn't know. You know what I mean? Like we weren't a part of certain conversations because they were filtered for adults. Like I remember growing up where we couldn't sit around the adults. You would get in trouble if the adults is all in one place. We had enough. You needed to be walking yourself over there where all the kids at. We had the kids room where you better be going outside where all the adults is because this is an adult conversation. So what is you doing in this room where all the adults, you know what I mean? And so it's like those type of conversations were so real when it came to like keeping things separate, when it came to having those serious conversations, but also like knowing that it's certain conversations that you cannot have with your children in front when it comes to adults. And that's why sometimes I get upset with some people when I see adults where they will go and talk about grown people stuff with their children. And it's like, okay, you're the adult. That conversation is with adults. That is not a conversation that you should be having with your child. You see what I'm saying? Like, even when it comes about the partner, like I've been big on, I don't care how bad this man may be, and he may not be doing whatever it is he's supposed to be doing, but I'm not having that conversation with my child. You see what I'm saying? Like that is a conversation that I'm going to keep away from her because I want to guard her feelings towards how she may respond to what that person is. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes I see now where I see sometimes people would just explode and want to talk about it all to the child. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, hey, it's supposed to be some type of,
no boundaries,
conversation. So that's what it was when it came to the kid. But I want you to see what he said when he started talking about those
relationships.
Hold on, I'm gonna bring it back.
Okay. No, I totally understand that, but it can blow up too.
Mm-hmm.
You might go through that shit. Now, first I asked you how'd you get there in that moment, in that space while you had to had a conversation with your friends. But how'd you get here on earth? Your mom and dad.
For sure. Through somebody's ovaries.
You know a lot about mom and dad?
Yes.
A lot?
A lot.
But in your 36 years of life, they never told you how freaky they got the night they made you. You don't know that.
But Pete, this
but wait, your dad ain't tell you, but son, your mama could do that. He can't share that information. Your mama can't come tell you, son, your daddy hooked like a goddamn shark hook. She can't have that conversation with you because there's a certain filter there for you. So in some relationships, men try to keep this representative for as long as they can, and they're scared to tell the truth on who they really are because they think they're protecting their partner from something that they may not be ready to compute,
Digest
to digest the process. You know what I'm saying? And I found that in my time, you will get a lot further in your relationship and in life and with your woman when you have those hard conversations, boy. It's a very hard thing to do, but the process is like tumbling. You ever heard of tumbling? Like tumbling rocks?
Mm-hmm.
You'll see the polished rocks and stones, and you're like, oh, I thought you were talking about gemstone.
Yeah.
All right, you'll see the polished rocks. They put all these rocks in this thing and they tumble them real hard. Callous process. And you like, damn, it sounds like shit getting tore up in there. That sounds like a fight going on in there. Commotion has erupted.
Emotion.
But when you open that shit and pull it out, you have all these polished stones that you go sell to people and like, oh, look at my birthstone or whatever. And people are happy. But nobody ever really knows the process that it took for that to come. It took friction. It took opposing forces to battle it out head on head, only to realize we make each other better. That's why they say iron sharpens iron. And that's the only way you're gonna get to the better destination in your relationship. We got to sharpen each other. I can't be sitting here, that's just like a dude. He know everything going on. He watch everything. He got a girlfriend over here, don't see nothing. It ain't gonna work. Opposites attract. But in my lifestyle, I need somebody to can watch my back and see what I don't see. I might like you, baby, but you ain't the one to move with me. You see what I'm saying? If I'm a wolf, I need a wolfette. I don't even know what a female wolf called.
Lioness.
If I'm a lion, I need a lioness. There we go. But a wolf, I just said the wolf because I see more wolves than lions.
I got you.
Yeah, I mean, but as
So listen. So that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all got where I'm saying. So that's when he started getting into it with the whole, keeping those real conversations. And like what he was saying, when he's sitting down with his partners and his bulls, he's like, we not having, like, his bulls is going to have that conversation. Like he said, him and his bulls, they sit down, they can talk about what their wives doing, what their girls doing, how they getting on their nerves, all that drama. But when it comes to actually sitting down having that conversation with his woman, he can't have that serious conversation because he feels like, okay, I don't want that argument. I don't feel like that drama. I don't feel like this. I don't feel like that. So I'd rather just not say nothing, or I'd rather just go along with the flow just because it's comfortable. What do you think about that?
I think that's a double-edged sword, because I think that, again, it goes from the core and the depth of where you are. Because I think for me, like you just said, when you were saying that about the childhood situation, I was thinking about that because, I'm a child of the 60s. And so when we were growing up, it was like stay in a child's place, get out of the room, blah, blah, blah. But honey, if a lot's going on, or if liquor's flowing and people ain't caring about it, a lot of stuff was popping off in front of us as children. And that's where that kind of comes in at too. But as you get older, then you have to make a decision and a choice about how you're going to move. And when I say that, I'm thinking like in relationships, because I've always, from the time that I was younger, been that person, that child, that I want to get to the bottom of something. I want to have an understanding. And this even before I knew the word of God, that in all of your get an understanding. Because I'm thinking, if you're not telling the truth, or you're not giving the whole story, how is that other person supposed to be able to respond to what you're requiring of them?
Stop right there. I want to play your part, but I don't know if it's going to pull it right up, but it's a part I want you to see, because what you just said about telling the truth. And he talks about why sometimes people will lie, because sometimes the truth may put you in a situation. And so what he talked about was, he told a story, and I'm wondering if I can pull it right there to that part. But he told a story about I think it was his cousin or somebody. And they had some drugs on him. He had some weed on him. And so he was like, he took him to him. I told his mom, like, what was boo, 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 everything that was going on with him. But he took the drugs from him. And he got pulled over by the cops leaving from them, but he was like, I'm taking this. I'm not letting him keep this, and ever. But he got in a car. The cop asked him, did he have any, should they expect, if you got anything, blah, blah, blah. He said, he thought about it because he like, if I say no, then it could be worse for me. But if I tell the truth, and the cop was like, just tell me now, don't wait until this, because this is going to be blah, 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 making it like it's going to be more on you if you don't just tell me. However, he told him, and it wound up still being the same situation that if he would have never said anything. So it's like, okay, sometimes people, they will say, okay, I don't want to say certain things because I don't want to get into the situation. I don't want to, if you go out there and he talk about, like, let's just say you go out there and you slip up. You see, you outside, you with your girls or you with your boys, you see a nice guy, or the guys, they see a nice girl, they link up, they have a little thing, they let it go that night. It was just a thing that one time. You say, I ain't never going to do that again. That was a mistake. When you come home, is that something that you're going to say to your partner? Are you going to release that information, or are you going to keep that to yourself? Because if you tell it, then what can happen? You could be in a situation where you may lose your marriage, you may lose the girl, you may lose your man, you may lose your boyfriend, whatever. It may be a situation where some things just is left to be untold. However, if you want to keep the, you know what I mean? So it's like some things is like, okay, do I say
tell the truth to keep the peace?
Right? And that's a hold on, Colette said sometimes the truth will set you free. Sometimes the truth will set you free, but then sometimes telling the truth also
will set you free.
And sometimes, let's like say for instance, you say something to somebody, they really are. All right, I'm gonna give an example. It's a person that I know, and they'll come to me and say something to me. And this is why I say I'm the worst. Sometimes I feel like I'm the worst person to come to if you want me to just be quiet and just listen, because because if you just want me to, I've been doing better with just listening and not being the person to speak. But sometimes if you really want the truth from, like, if you talking to me, I'm going to give it to you. Right. And I feel the same way for me. Like if I'm talking to you, I want you to give it to me. Like I don't want you to just feed me fake conversation. I want you to give it to me real. And if I come to you with something, I want you to be like, yo, niece, you just did something stupid. I don't think you should have did that. Some people are not comfortable with you giving that real information. Some people will get in their feelings if you tell them really how they've been doing. Like if I'm like, for instance, if I have a person who I used to talk to you all the time, then all of a sudden you don't talk to me like that. And then if I say something to you like, yo, what's up? Why we ain't talking like that? And I'm like, dang, when you was going through something, I heard from you all the time. But now that you ain't going through nothing, now I don't hear from, why would you say that? Now they getting defensive. But I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you, I ain't heard from you. Like, what's up? Like, why is it that we can't have that conversation, or even in a relationship? Like I could be like, yo, you treating your dude like you really being nasty towards the boy. Like he's good. He's a good boy. Like, why is you being so nasty? Why you talking to him like that? Oh, no, what you mean? Why, what I mean? So sometimes you can't have those serious conversations with some people, because some people will get in that comment and feel,
they will. And let me add this. And normally most times is that if I have to, because you, like you say, if you come to me and you want to talk to me and you want some advice, you got to know it's going to be 100. Right. Like the kids that keep it a buck, keep it 100, because I got to tell you the truth. Because if I'm really your friend, that's what friends do. Right. Now, see, you got this other situation to where some people cannot accept that truth, right? So they want you to sugarcoat it. Right. So if you're not doing the sugarcoat in the tap dance with them, and you out here in the field, in the street, spinning around like a fool with them, then they become defensive. Right. But then you got to know, if you got a real friend, this is my psychology, is philosophy. If you are my real friend, I want you to pull my coat. If I am out of order, or if I did something that could jeopardize my livelihood, my relationship, my job, then I need that person. I would desire, because I don't have needs, I have desires. I would desire for that person to be honest with me and pull my coat and say, you know what, Niecy, you was out of order. That is foul. And I have a couple of people in my life that can do that with me and for me. And what I found about in the past, when I used to kind of be kind of hyping on the rah-rah, because I don't let people disrespect me, right? I had that spirit on me. Ain't nobody gonna disrespect me, because that came from my childhood.
Right.
I got a homegirl. She be like, hey, we got to have this conversation. And I love that about her. And sometimes people be afraid to tell you because they think in turn you now going to check them.
Right.
So they'll be quiet. But to me, that's not a friend. If you're going to let your friends spin and cut up and tear up their own household, you can offer the advice. But if they don't want it, it's okay. It's like that horse in the water.
Right.
You can do whatever you got to do. But like I say, my major thing when I'm talking to somebody, if I got to have a hard conversation, the first thing I would say is, I want you to take this with loving kindness. Loving kindness. So that way they know I'm not just trying to jump on you. I'm not just trying to make you feel bad, but I love you like a real sister. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Now, if they rejected it. But loving kindness is where I'm coming from. And that's funny that Joc saying that, because Joc tore up his wife household and his marriage with a bunch of his nonsense and keeping secrets.
And so he talks about that as well. He said your truth, sometimes they say your truth is too much, your honesty needs editing, and other people's comfort matters more than clarity. So now when we grow up, instead of saying this relationship isn't healthy, we say, I'm just busy right now. You know what I mean? Or instead of saying you're not ready. Yeah, or we'll say, I say, if you're saying this relationship isn't healthy, then instead of saying this relationship isn't healthy, we would just say, I'm just busy right now.
Right, but them three that you just spoke off, you said that if it's those three,
truth is too much, your honesty needs editing, other people's comfort matters more than your clarity.
Oh,
that's what. And so he like, when you saying these things, instead of saying you're not ready for this responsibility, then we will say, let's revisit this later, because you don't want to take that responsibility right now. You like, let's just revisit this later. Instead of this business isn't working, I'm just trusting the process. You know what I mean? And so it's like, but let's be real, truth delayed is still truth denied.
Yeah.
And avoiding conversation doesn't protect people, it just protects discomfort. And so like a lot of times, like even when we talk about business and we have these conversations a lot, there's people, I would say sometimes when we sit there, we having these conversations, like we had a real conversation. We talked about what do I really need to be doing within my hours of my day? Like, am I really going to sit in different groups that are not really making any sense to me? Like, I'm not producing any funds in this. I'm not leveling up in my business. It's not making me more successful. It's not, these conversations that I'm having is not growing me in any kind of way. And if I'm doing this all the time and I'm staying with people who don't have the same like mind, how are we going to really grow if we are still in those same type of circles? And so sometimes it has to be a thing where you have to come out of certain circles because you already see the mindset. Like if I'm sitting here, even in relationships, you can't be in a relationship. And I'm not saying nothing against people who have a 9-to-5, but if the person only can have a 9-to-5 mindset and you're a business owner, they're not going to understand your grind, your hustle, that you may be working 12, 14 hours out the day and don't have the time to be sitting there doing dumb stuff or having dumb conversations because you're too busy with what you got going on. They may not understand that time that you have to do to put into your business. They may not understand the sacrifices that you have to make when it comes to money, because you're like, they may want to take their money and go shopping or go on a trip or something like that. But you're like, no, I need to buy this new software for my business. I need to reinvest into myself because this is what's going to help me grow. Like those type of conversations. So when you're dealing with somebody and they don't have that, it's kind of like, okay, where are we going?
Like all in water.
Right. It's almost like, that's like me saying, I want to go out the country, but I know you can't get a passport. So I'm going to be like, where are we going? You know what I mean? So it's like, we gotta have a real conversation.
Oh my God, that is so
I would tell people I'm not a priest. So very true. And I don't keep, and she said, and I don't keep it real. Nikki said, I ain't sugarcoating ish. Because Brooke said, I'll tell it like it is. And Nikki said, very true. And that's one thing, like, I can't say, like, you with my mom, like, she will just tell you straight up, like, what a conversation is. And Nikki is the same way. Like, we'll have those serious conversations. And like what we had yesterday, when we had those serious conversations, I'm like, some people you can't have those type of conversations with. And I remember I had a conversation with a girl a while back. I'll never forget this. And it was in reference to a guy. And she was one of those type of people who was like, don't tell me if you ever see him or if you know anything. I don't want to know. And so we was just like, okay, because he was doing a bunch of stuff and she was like playing detective or whatever, but it was like, she don't want to know. But it's like, so why are you monitoring and seeing, looking and searching, but you don't want to know? You just don't want to know from us, but you really
you don't want y'all to know that y'all know. She don't want to know that y'all know. That's
right. So it's like, you want to know you want to know, but you don't want to know from us. So I laugh at that to this day, and I'm just like, but why are you looking and searching if you don't want to know? Then you don't want to freaking know. So I'm just like, and so when he started telling that story about the relationships, and I want y'all to see, I want to see if I can bring that part up because I really wanted you to hear that. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can bring that. Because that part was so deep when he talked about that, about telling certain stuff, and then it sometimes can backfire on you.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see.
And then I got to tell you something about that, similar to that what you were saying about the friend. I got to tell you that.
Right. Oh, let me see.
I want to know.
About with me and Kendra, man. That girl be having, she make me come out that shell. And I come from two parents who didn't give a fuck what they say when it's time to say it. My mama, anybody know my mama? She could, sweetest person. She gonna talk some shit. That was my dog.
She could put it together.
Man, Vic will cuss your ass out so eloquently, be loud, or can do it silently, softly. You be like, damn. And you appreciate the cussing out. You be like, damn. I ain't gonna lie, but she cut me out so good that I ain't offended. It was the presentation of the cuss out. My daddy, straight maniac when he was younger. So I was raised by two parents who ain't play the radio. And I have that, although I'm very non-confrontational, very humble, I'm very chill. But when that button gets pushed, it's another person. And oftentimes my wife is the only person that could push that button. She could do that shit instantly. She cut through and go right to boop. I'm like, and I've learned that that's only because she want to get right to it. Tell me the truth. Don't lead me, don't lead me on and don't mislead me. And I think that's what we do a lot of times in trying to protect our partners instead of telling the truth. And because the truth is so hard, because in life, people tell you, if you just tell the truth, everything will be okay.
The truth? So set you.
That officer had me in the back of the car. He said, man, if you got anything on you right now, man, just let me know. I won't lock you up or you already die. He said, because you're here at the jail now. If you're going in that door, they're going to give you a felony for whatever you got on you. I said, why can't my nephew? I done rescued my nephew. He done smoked some shit. They done called me. And I'm like, boy, what you smoking? He so how he get to him. I'm like, what the man, give me this shit. I'll put it up.
Mm-hmm.
As I drop him off, as I'm leaving to drop him out, I just need to show his mama what hey, I don't know what this is, but this is what your son's smoking. So my nephew's smoking. Before I could even get rid of it, the police pulled me over. I took it. He said, I got an FTA. I don't know what for. Okay, take me to jail. I get to jail. He said, hey, man, if you got anything on you, just go on and do it now. Tell me now. I won't charge you with it. I said, all right, look, man, I got about a gram of weed on me that my nephew was smoking. And I can show you my text message. He said, well, show me the text message so I don't think it's yours. I showed him the text message. Sus, this boy going crazy. I got the shit he's smoking. You need to see it. Once he saw that, he was like, yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to charge. I'm like, man, you lied to me, dog. Why you couldn't just tell me the truth? Let me just, you lied to me. I said, dog, why we don't trust you? He said, what do you mean? I said, that's why we can't trust y'all. You lied to me. I said, I could have took my chances when they wouldn't have found this shit. But I pulled it out and you charged me. He like, all right, go sit on the seat. I walked to the seat like, hell no, it's a camera right there on the seat. You trying to get me again. He laughed. When he laughed, I laughed with him. We had a human moment. And we came to a resolve. He said, give it to him, I throw it away. But we had to go through that moment of conflict, the very uncomfortable conversation to get our resolve. A lot of times we have to do that with our partner because what all a woman wants is backing. So if she back you down because you don't want to tell her the truth and she find a lie, you are not in position to fully lead her. That's how a woman gonna feel. How the fuck I'm gonna follow you and I can't? Just imagine if you went to school. If I'm in class and you the professor and I find out you dumb as hell, nigga, I'm changing my class. Hey, I think I want to take another class. Oh no, no, he not. I'm gone. And everybody, you're crazy for getting out of this class. No, I know the truth. He ain't smart enough to lead me. That's how women feel in relationships with us. You making dumbass decisions. Just think about the nigga who go out the house, popping like, yeah, baby, I'm my hustle. I'm trying to get him. He trying to get some ass, get some motion. Then he come home, he like, yeah, man, that shit ain't even ran. Nigga playing the game, really. What the money? Man, that's what I'm saying. Nigga was playing, had me sitting over there for 2 hours, talking about he was going, nigga ain't never show up. That's why the rich nigga like you come in and seem like the superstar. Cause your moves be for real, they be valid. You come home with the bag. So you don't have that conversation as much. Where you was at? Why you was gone so long? Well, so what happened? Man, I just was trying to record in the studio. We've been doing that for 2 years. You ain't had a hit yet. You need to do something else. That's what, you know what I'm saying? We don't be wanting to tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Hey, look, baby, I was out. I'm going through some shit. I don't know what's going on, man. I need to sit down and just get some therapy. She might look at you crazy, but she ain't gonna cuss you out. She ain't gonna tell you ain't shit. She might respect you a little more for being honest. Sometimes we going through shit and don't know how to tell our woman. I told my lady the other day, baby, I'm going through something right now. She said, what? I said, I'm not as excited about the things that I've been doing professionally. She said, well, you losing interest for it? I said, no. I think I just found a new purpose. And she said, what's that? I said, my philanthropy. I'm going out here, I'm doing stuff, I'm touching these people in these communities and I see the difference it makes. Everywhere I go, somebody tell me, boy, you should run for mayor. I'm like, I'm not running for no damn mayor. But then I was just sitting next to the mayor of Atlanta, Andre.
Oh, Andre, I'm sorry. I said
it's all good. Yeah, I mean, because
y'all see that? So you see what I was saying about telling the truth, and then sometimes it can catch you, and then sometimes it can have you in another situation. What she say? Nikki said, she wants to know, but she's not ready to accept it. That's true. And then Tiff said, didn't I just say that? Yeah, she said that. But I just say, like, when it comes to having those real conversations, think about your circle and the people that you talk to on a daily basis, and think about the conversations you have. Can you think about how many conversations you actually curve off of talking to certain people? Just think about it. Just think about 5 people in your head. Everybody do that. Everybody on here. In the comments, if you're listening, in the comments, put yes. If you can think of at least 5 people that you talk to on a daily basis and you can't really say what you really want to say because you know they're gonna feel some type of way. Put a yes in the comment.
Hell yeah. I can think of the main one.
No, if you know something that you know that you want to say something to this person, but you know they're gonna either be defensive, they're gonna get mad, they're gonna say, oh, this, that, and the other, they're gonna feel some type of way. Just say yes. Just say yes in the comment, because everybody has those conversations with people where they just be like, I want to say this, but I'm not going to say it all because I know this person going to get all offensive, or they're going to try to take up because, because sometimes you can talk to people and then you'll be like, it could be even more, but you may not talk, you know what I mean? You could be like, it could be simple stuff. Like, it could be a simple conversation about another person. And then you like, okay. And then that person might be so defensive, like even off the another person, you'd be like, well, dang, like,
That's real. That's very real. And what I found that for me, When I found that to be true, which was so sad for me, was between my two siblings, because I have two sisters, right? And I'm thinking, right, like you say, you would think that the family should be your soft place to fall. That ought to be the place where you could tell the truth, where you could be most comfortable, but not in my situation, girl. When I would try to talk the truth about it, or let's have a conversation, I was just starting trouble. I just wanted trouble. And that's what they would throw back on me. And I'm thinking, trouble. Girl, I told you at one point, I wanted to call Iyanla and say, fix our life, fix us. Because Jesus, I would say, Jesus, take the wheel, and Iyanla, you grab it, take it, drive us. But girl, I knew they wouldn't go. But that's what it was for me, that I thought where I could be most honest and share, trying to build the relationship. That was just, oh no, I heard that, girl.
If y'all see, y'all hear what she's saying right now. And if y'all have that same problem where you have family members and you think that because they're family, you would be able to have those serious conversations with them, but they can't, even though that's your family. Put family in the chat. Because it's like people, I think that people have, and you know, it's to me, and because I'm just going off of my own family, I feel like we can't have, I think I have less real conversations when it comes to keeping it honest and real with family members than I do with people outside of my family, because I'm always trying to curb people's feelings, because I know how many people will feel some type of way if you say certain things. And so you have to curb, and I think I do that more with a family member than I do with people outside of the family, because people, I think, and to me, and I could be wrong, but to me, I think that a lot of times when it comes to mental illness, and when it comes to trauma, when it comes to being in family, and then you knowing certain things about a person, knowing certain things that they went through, knowing certain things. And so you're trying to be more soft when it comes to that, because you know so much. Whereas though somebody outside, you may not know as much. So you'd be like, girl, is da-da-da-da, or boy, is this, you know what I mean? But when it comes to somebody that you know what their lives has been, it's like you try to be a little bit softer because you already know so much about that person. Do you think that or no?
I think it's kind of true. But it can go both ways. Because whereas I can relate to that, you know, my family, the history, I can relate to that. And then when I try the softer approach and trying to make it, like you say, just soft and more understanding, then the more ramped up it could get till you really get frustrated. So then they start poking your buttons, and now you're frustrated. So the whole thing is just off the track then by then anyway. So that's what I found. But then this last couple of years, though, when I had to create boundaries, I had to put up real boundaries that was going to protect my peace, and then it would protect them as well. So that way it's not I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you to the death. It's not none of that. I'm gonna just speak my piece. Either it's received or it's not. And then at that point, it could be okay. Well, I'm gonna go now. Let's just wrap this up, and I'm going to go, because I'm not gonna fight you to get through to you or to help you or support you or give you that advice. Some people don't want advice. They'd rather just fight you than take the advice. But you don't have to fight me, because I'm not your enemy. And that's what I had to realize. This is taking me to another level. It's taking me out of character, trying to build something in somebody. And I no longer do that, especially at 62 years young. I ain't doing that no more. No. I just let you be. I'm going to let you be, okay? But it's real. It is real. And you made a valuable point that sometimes within family, you think you ought to be able to, but you can't. But I know, even like I said, the conversation we had yesterday, it just helped my heart, because, you know, I had been going through, I'm doing all this healing, everything's happening. I was just really having a mental situation. And just to be able to talk to you and share. And I know I can do that with my husband, but I love that between you and I got two other sisters that God gave me that I can do that with. And I'm so grateful. I appreciate you.
Yes. And that's why I tell people you have to have somebody that you can have those conversations with, because sometimes you can't. And then sometimes I think that, because I know with me personally, sometimes I just avoid the conversation, sometimes just avoid the people in general, just because I'll be like, I just want a peace of mind. And if it's out of sight, out of mind, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to be around it. So I'll just be like, I'll more so just, I ain't gonna say cut the person off completely, but I just kind of stay away. So
You
therefore,
avoid them
I
in the
just
topic.
avoid. And I think I have to, and I feel like, well, what we talked about yesterday, I feel like I have to stop avoiding a situation and just face it head on and just say how I feel. And
Mhm.
sometimes I try to,
Yeah.
because I try to avoid conflict and I try to avoid, and that's those serious conversations, like what we talking about, avoiding those serious conversations. Sometimes I just back away because I'm like, I don't feel like the drama. That's my whole thing. Like, I'd be like, look, I ain't got time. I don't feel like all this going back and forth. I don't want this to be one of those episodes. So avoid all of that, I just won't conversate. I'll just stay away.
Wow, that is interesting because I know for me, and even today, I left a voicemail though. A little emoji Bobby head did my talking for me, right? You know my little emojis.
Uh-huh.
It felt so good after I left a message, and I left that message and I shared it because right now in 2026, this year is going to be the priority when it comes to feelings. Is
Mhm.
going to be about mine. I'm
Right.
not going to allow people to suck my energy, and I'm not benefiting from it
Mm-hmm.
because then that becomes heavy on me, and then I have to plan my time around what's making somebody else feel good.
Mm-hmm.
The hell? No, that's not it. I got to be the best version of me, but I
Right.
still be okay. And then even when I have the face-to-face conversation, it'll be okay. It'll
Mm-hmm.
be okay or it won't. It's gonna be one thing or the other,
Right.
but I'm not gonna be in the middle straddling, doing Chinese splits like I used to in high school, trying to just be on both sides of the fence.
Right.
It's good, but I think honesty and clarity, and my favorite scripture, my business was built on that Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron, and I
Mm-hmm.
would suggest that everybody get somebody that's got some sharp that they can build off of with you and assist you with. But
Mm-hmm.
if not, it's okay. It
Right.
is gonna be okay. Yeah.
Right. And that's so real because when it comes to, I would say, in so many situations, we all have those situations where we have to have those uncomfortable conversations. And a lot of times people just don't know where to start. People don't know how to come out with it. I'm gonna say one conversation that some people don't like to have, a woman. Like, a woman don't want to sometimes have that conversation because she don't know how the response is going to be if she get pregnant. You know what I mean? That's an uncomfortable conversation with some women. You be like, oh my, you go take you. You're like, oh, oh. You like, do I want to? That's an uncomfortable conversation. Another, you know what I mean? That's an
Where
uncomfortable
do we stand in this relationship is another one.
conversation. And
Where
that's
do we
another thing.
stand, buddy?
And that's what it's like. You like, how is this going to play out? How is this? And it's so many uncomfortable, even at work. I remember I was at a job, and I'm gonna be like, for me, I always liked what I did at work. I was never one of those people who had a job, because I always got jobs in the field that I'm still in to this day. So me going to work, even though I was always big on wanting to have my own and being able to have my own time and all of that, I still liked what I did at my jobs because I did what I still do. So it's like, I liked my job. I just might have not liked the people that I was working with, but I liked what I was doing. So sometimes I may have those, like, I had those times, and I ain't gonna lie, I was one of them people who had the little earbuds, and I would have them earbuds in so I can tune everybody out around me. I didn't want to hear anything around me. I didn't want to have those conversations with people. I wasn't that, hey girl, da, 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 da. I wasn't that one. I just wasn't that girl that was trying to be friendly with every single person and wanting to go do this. And I just was, I want to get my work done, and all
Get out.
right, you know, because I knew sometimes the relationships honestly was not real. I knew the relationships with sometimes with some of those people was either they just wanted to get in your business, or they was just being fake because they just wanted to act like they liked you. Some of them, It wasn't really like real because when you listen to some of their other conversations, you start learning the people and you start looking like, okay, this person really don't like me. But every time they see me, they like, hi Denise, how are you? And you like,
you
but
can see my girl. You can see through it.
And you like, Heifer, you know you don't like me. Like, you ain't even gotta go through all that. And so it's like, and that's why I told you, I'm like, don't say certain things out your mouth. Don't tell a person that you love them. Don't tell a person that you like them. Don't even say certain things out your mouth when you know it ain't real, because it's just misleading. And then you'll end up with, like, for instance, I ended up, remember I told you about that situation with the girl. And I was sitting here all this time and I'm thinking, oh, this is a friend. This is somebody I'm so cool with. And then here it is, this same person who I'm thinking is so much of a friend was stabbing me in the back, the whole 9 yards, saying so much stuff behind me. And then I realized, honestly, I can say, and this is why I tell people, be careful about your circle, because I was doing so much in that circle at that present time to make things work for not just me, but for everybody else in that circle. But when I pulled myself away from that circle and I started doing things on my own, and I started connecting with different people who was like-minded, into business, into doing different things, I started seeing myself moving up. And I started seeing myself learning more. I started catching more nuggets, started catching more information, started doing. So I'm like, sometimes we connect with people who mislead us. And sometimes they mislead us as thinking that they're one thing because they're not being real. And the only reason why they're trying to connect with you is because their own personal whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm going to connect with you because if I connect with you, then I know then this is going to help me. Or if I connect with you, like, they could be somebody, it could be, oh, I can stay connected. If it's like I tell, we was talking to, who was it the other day? I was talking to I think it was one of my friends, child. So she was like, oh, the girl, it was like she got a brother or whatever. And the girl was like that, certain people was all friending her. And it was like they wasn't really friending. They didn't really want to be her friend, but because the girls like the boy, that's why they want to friend up the girl, because of the fact that they get connected towards the brother. So that's why I'm like, sometimes you just really got to watch the connections, because sometimes not all connections are real. Some people just want to see who you connected to so they can get connected to somebody else. They really don't want the connection.
And their energy stuck.
And then some people just stuck in their ways. Like, I just say, like, I know, like, sometimes some people are just like, okay, I am who I am. I've been doing this forever. I don't choose to do anything different. And that's fine if that's what you want out of life. If you don't want to grow, if you don't want to have a different mentality, if you don't, that's your life. And that's one thing that I had to learn. I had to learn really much. And I want y'all all to hear this, because this is really important right now, because this is something that I really struggled with for a while. And it was the thing of wanting everybody to grow because I wanted to grow. And so I want to put everybody in the same circle and pull everybody with me. I want to show everybody what I know. I want to teach everybody this. I want to tell you all about this stuff, because of the fact that you're connected to me. So if you're connected to me, I want to go up. I want you to go up too. So I want you all to be growing. But then I started saying to myself, why do I feel like I'm forcing these people to do this? Why am I forcing you to do a business? Why am I feel like I'm pushing it down you. Why am I doing it? And I'm like, then I had to learn myself that not everybody is meant to be in business. Some people are meant to just go to work, because those people minds are set to, I need to have somebody telling me what to do. That's number one, because some people don't have the mentality to really get up and be focused and know I got work to do. Some people don't have that mentality to say like shucks, like me the other day. I'm sitting here, I worked out with my brother, got up 4:30 in the morning, finished workout with him. I didn't even take a shower or do anything right after. I went straight to cutting on the computer and started working and going straight through the night. Went through up until about 2:00 before I even took a shower, then switched and then got right back to work. But I'm like, some people don't have that drive to want to do those type of things. So then it's like, okay, because you don't have that drive. And so when I feel like I'm telling them something, so those type of people will stay away from me or they'll pull back from me sometimes.
Yes.
And I'll see that. And it's, the reason why is because they like, oh, here she come with that. And it's like, and then I'll get offended, but I'm like, why am I getting offended? It shouldn't be nothing I should get offended for, because I just have to know for myself that these people want to stay where they are. And that's okay. Because some people will get a check. Some people, like I said, some people will get a check and they think that that check is it. And you get in, and that's all. So you're going to live off that check. But if an emergency happened, you don't want to have nothing else. You see what I'm saying? Some people are set. And that's why I'm just like, I had to learn to pull away from the people who are what we call still in the same situation, still doing the same thing, thinking they're going to get different results, still weighing around the same people, still not trying to do anything, still rolling their eyes, still looking crazy, still having an attitude, still sitting there doing the same thing that they've been doing for the last 10 to 20 years. But then when they tell you, I'm grown, I'm is the age thing. Then it's like, okay, and then that's when I had to say this to somebody the other day. Okay, so because you're that age, did you ever have trauma at a younger age? Because why do you feel the need to have to tell me how old you are all the time? Like, why does that become a thing? Like, because if you're that old and you don't know what you're doing, to me, mentality wise, you still a child. I don't care if you're 100 years old. If you're not in the right mindset to be doing something to make you level up, then you can be 90, you could be 100. But if your mentality is still at 10, then we can't, then this conversation, I wouldn't care how old you are. Like, what is this? Because I feel like sometimes some people be like, they get stuck on that, on the age thing. And it's like, why are you so stuck about how old you are? Because there is girls. There's a girl right now who's in her early 20s and is a freaking millionaire. I'm not going to stop watching this girl who's a 20-something-year-old millionaire that can teach me something because I'm learning off of her because she's 20-something years old and I'm older than her. No, I'm going to watch this girl because this girl can give me some advice that I may not know. And I need to stop being so stuck on that, because that's what will keep you stuck. That will keep you still. And for the word for 2026, don't be still.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. And wait, you are a girl. You just need to pass the plate now.
So let me see what they got in the comment. Tut said, and I hate crying ass people who I wish I need to give a tissue to. She said give it a tissue to. She said pretenders. Denise, you know I don't. And then Nikki said leeches. And then Nicola said everything is not for everybody. Not everyone is meant to accompany you on a certain journeys. That's true. I remember that when I was in business, Colette said. And that was true, because like I remember my mom was telling me stories then. And like we talk about these uncomfortable conversations. And like she said, when she was in business, she was in a male-dominated business because she was in a bar business. And so there wasn't many women bar owners. And by her being a woman as a bar owner, of course, she was getting a lot of, the cross eyes and the negativity and pushing back. But she had to have those uncomfortable conversations and had to do some uncomfortable things in order for her to be able to be successful in what she was doing. So that's why I said, when you have a journey and a goal on what you're trying to do, you can't allow people or those conversations to make you feel less than. You can't allow those conversations to make you feel uncomfortable. You just have to get into it. If you say, hey, I need you to do boom, 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 and it's like, okay, we just got to get on it. I literally had an uncomfortable conversation with myself, y'all. I have those, remember I showed you yesterday, I literally, people, y'all use ChatGPT, y'all use Claude, whatever you want to use. I want y'all to literally take this as a homework assignment for everybody. Go on there and be honest. Go on there and be honest on what it is that you really want to do with your life. Talk about not only what you want to do with your life, but what it is that you're doing in your daily routine that's helping you get to your goal. And when you say that, then turn around after you put that in there, then say, what do I need to change about what I'm doing every day to be able to hit this goal? And then see what it tells you. And tell it to talk to you real. Be honest and real and straightforward when you put it in there. And it's going to say, listen here. And it's going to give you the real. And that's what sometimes some people really need. You may not want it from a person, but hey, we in a world of AI now. Let it be on the computer. Let AI tell you for real. It'll help you get to where you need to go. Like I literally did that yesterday. Like I literally was like, look, and I had Miss Day right here that I screenshot and I was like, look, I'm sitting here, I am manually doing X, Y, and Z. This is so time consuming. I am stressed right now trying to get all this stuff done. I really need to figure some things out on how I can make things work financially and be able to grow and continue to grow without me doing these tedious tasks. And what do I need to change? What am I doing wrong? And it literally listed out all the different things. I told it what I was doing, the steps I was doing, and it literally gave me an eye opener to now I also was able to get different softwares that I was able to pull from that. I was able to get step-by-step guides on how I can change my QuickBooks things up, how I can use my ADP, like all these different things. It taught me all off of me being straight up and honest. Like, and I literally talk to my ChatGPT like I'm talking to a person. And I want y'all to understand, like, you can do that if you don't want it to come real from a person, because some people can't handle that honest, like we just said, some people can't handle honest conversation. So let AI talk to you where nobody would know. It's just you and your phone. So nobody will have to know what nobody, you ain't got to worry about a person looking, then you can actually take it. And if you're not a person that like to read, ChatGPT actually have where you can speak and it will speak back to you and tell you. So do that, y'all. Like use it, because sometimes some people just honestly, you want to be honest with yourself, what you want out of life, but you also want to know that at the end of the day, you got to at least be real to yourself if you ain't real to everybody else.
Exactly. That is so true. And what I would love to leave with our audience today, and one thing that I know I really helped me in my life, because like you say, I'm that person. I want to talk about it. I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to be honest about it. But what I also found out is that I will never ask a question that I am not prepared for the answer. And so, see, a lot of people, they want to throw stuff out there. They want to go to questioning people. And then when they give you a true answer, now you want to wig out and turn around and spin like a Tasmanian devil. But see, if I ask you a question, you better know from the depths of my soul, I'm prepared for that answer. And it may not be the answer that I want, that I like, or that I need, but it will be honesty. And I'm gonna tell y'all, honey, I did this with my husband, and I'm a 2-time divorcee, honey, but this third time it was real. But I had a conversation with him when I was getting ready to leave that state. We had been dating, we had talked, we're both 55 years young at that time. We 62 now, right? And I asked him, I'm leaving, but I want to know, are you prepared to go with me where I'm going, right? Because if you're not, I understand. But if you are, this is my timeline. But I believe you're the one. But if you're not, God got my husband where I'm going. Oh. You know what that man said to me? He said, come on, girl. You know my husband. Come on now. You know it. And I was prepared, because he could have very well said, no, I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to stay here. We both have been where we were for 30 years each. But honey, I'm finna retire. I done sold my house, and this is what I'm going to do. Are you with me? How that song say, Dixie, are you with me? Right. I wanted to know if you were with me, but if he was not, I had to be prepared for his response. I couldn't have got mad. I couldn't have did none of that. But when he said, why wouldn't I? I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Great answer. And we've been married 7 years from the day that I asked him that. We got married a couple months later after we came to Vegas and house hunted. Okay.
Wow.
So I say that to say, don't be afraid to have them honest conversations,
Mhm.
because that's where you're going to know where you are. Because, see, that was another one when you were talking about relationships. A
Mhm.
lot of times people be scared to ask a person, where do we stand? And
Mhm.
then you go through all this stuff where we just friends. You friends with benefits, and I'm doing this and I'm doing. But are you okay with that? If you okay with it, then no harm, no foul. But
Mhm.
when I would be in relationships, I want to know where I stand, what's
Right.
happening, and especially at this time in my life. So I
Mhm.
wanted to share that. And sometimes when you have them friends that they fall away, they don't be around when you want to kind of, they don't want them true answers because they know that your energy and your spirit would not tolerate that. So
Mhm.
they don't want that answer that you're gonna give them.
Right. And
I
that's
know.
what I told. You know, it's so funny you say that because I told that to my daughter a couple weeks ago. She had came to me with a situation, and she was like, "But why would I? Why would I have a feeling about this when this was happening?" And I was like, "You know what?" And one of the things I told her, I said, "You can't always worry about how everybody feels because we all going to hurt somebody's feelings at some point." And I was like, you was honest enough to, you was given the real in the conversation. Whether that person wanted to receive that information, that's on them. If they don't want to receive it, then okay, it is. But my daughter is more, but I would say it's so funny because I laugh because I feel like sometimes her personality is more like my mom when it comes to certain things. Because she'll be like, "Oh, I could care less if I talk to this person. I'm done." She'll block and be over it, and she's like, "I ain't got to say nothing else to me. I ain't got to hear from him. I ain't got to see." But she like, "I'm not losing no sleep," and she be serious. Like when I tell you she
Like
be
a
serious,
roulette dealer.
she will be done. Like she don't care. She don't want to hear about what they got going on. She don't want to have a conversation. Like she's just over it. When she's finished, she's finished. She do not play no
Yeah.
games. It's no extra conversation. It's no love. Because she always tell me, she like, "Oh, you too nice. You be letting people back in too much." You like, you need to stop. And I be like trying to always be the, trying to give people she like,
Give them grace. Yeah, yeah.
you just got to be done. And I be like, I laugh, but I'm like, she is like that. She is so much like that. Like she will cut off in a heartbeat.
And I can understand it too, because sometimes you get tired. And
Mhm.
that's why I say I'll be clapping my hands like a roulette dealer. You got to let it go. But
Right.
I appreciate that when people are real, you can be real. You know who wants to get real help and advice. You
But
know
I
who
always
you
feel, but
trust.
that's so true. But I feel like, and that's why I asked you about family when you said that about family, because I feel like, because even with her situation, like it's like when you have somebody who you feel like, to me, is whether it's a close family or a close friend, and they come into you real, why would you get offended or why would you feel some type of way? Because you know that person is coming in love.
Yeah, because they don't want to
So if
heal.
it wasn't
They don't
really
want to
love,
be
so if
real.
that person don't really care about you, they're not gonna say nothing. If that person don't really, really fool with you like that, they just gonna keep it riding and just go with the flow. But if a person truly cares about you and really loves you, they're gonna give you that honest and that truth.
Yeah.
And that's
Because
why
if
I say
somebody comes to
I
you,
remember my girlfriend Tanya years ago, and she had came to me. And one thing we was always real honest and straightforward with each other. And that's one thing that I always loved, but our relationship as well, is because she would just give it to me. And she'd be like, "Oh no, he's that." And even though I sometimes didn't want to hear what she had to say because I was so mad, but it was just like when she was telling me certain stuff that was going, and then it was so funny because the actual things that she was saying was actually the things that was actually happening, and they wound up being so true on what she was saying. I used to be like, dang, she knew exactly, but I was just like, sometimes we don't want to receive certain things, especially when it comes to a partner, and you be thinking that they one way and then it's like it's something else. You have to understand that the person that's really coming to us and giving it to us, sometimes if they giving it to you and you know that person is close to you, they giving it to you in love.
in love. That's why I say I lead with that. I want to share this with you in loving kindness. And I know my little sister, she gonna crack up if she see this. And that I know that was one thing with us. And we have like a 20-year age gap, right?
Mhm.
Between me and her. Been friends for 20 years. And so, but what I found out, what I started to observe early on in the relationship slash friendship was
Mhm.
that at times she would be passive aggressive. Now, I
Mm.
don't know how many of y'all have passive aggressive folks in your life, but you know, they come off they passive aggressive, and that's the last thing they would do is admit it, right? So
Mm.
I had to bring that to her attention in loving kindness
Mm.
because she would be feeding me her side up, telling me how she reacted, and I
Mhm.
would have to say, but baby girl, you being passive aggressive right now. You know,
Mhm.
and we have to talk about that. And to this day now, she will catch herself if she's being passive aggressive, and she'll
Mm.
say, "Girl, I almost start going back down the passive aggressive road. I had to come on back out." So I love that she received that, she recognized that within herself, and she corrected it.
Right.
Because there's no sense in being passive aggressive because you ain't gonna get nothing done. That
Mhm.
them people ain't gonna know you got a problem with them if you didn't tell them directly.
Right.
You know, you got to share your feelings, be clear, but always have that person in your corner that can pull
Exactly.
your coat, and they can pull yours, you can pull theirs, and
Mhm.
you are surrounded by good people. Yeah.
Right. That's so good. Now, y'all, it's 8 o'clock. So let's land this plane right here. Having real conversation doesn't mean you're mean. It doesn't mean you lack compassion. It means you respect yourself enough to stop shrinking your voice for other people's comfort. Some people won't like you if you tell them the truth. They just won't. Some
Mm.
people won't be ready to hear what you got to say. And some people may even walk away from you because they just don't want to hear it. But the right people, the healed people, the growing people, they'll thank you for it. So tonight, I want you all to think about this. We're here. Just think about where have you been, let me say, where have you been fixing the story instead of telling the truth? And then what conversations are you avoiding that could change everything? I'm gonna say that one more time. What conversation
Ooh.
are you avoiding that could change everything? Because real conversations don't break real relationships. And the word relationships, let's think about relationships. So those real ones is going to be there no matter what. So just at the end of the day, and if this hits home for you, drop in a comment, share this with somebody who needs it, and remember, growth starts where comfort ends. You can't stay comfortable. You have to want to grow. You have to change. You have to be wanting to move in a different direction. So, y'all, we'll see y'all next time. And we will be back on next Thursday at 7 p.m. with another good topic for y'all. And we will talk to y'all soon. Thank y'all for tuning in and have a fabulous weekend. And stay warm, y'all, because I know people supposed to be getting some more snow. So, y'all have a good one. Bye
Mwah.
bye.